Hi, I'm Rick Perlstein, and this is History in 5. Today I'm going to tell you 5 things you need to know about the political rise of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan concluded his second term as California governor during one of America's darkest times. When he began to consider his political future in the years 1973 and 74, America was suffering a historic crisis of confidence. The prisoners of war returned from Vietnam, and a magazine editor explained the biggest change they would have to face was that Americans no longer believed, in Lincoln's words, that America was the last best hope on earth. The Arab oil embargo in 1973 had decimated the American economy. People watched on TV every day as aides in the White House revealed themselves as little better than criminals. The president resigned. And pundits explained that the politicians who honored this new chastened mood of the country would be the ones who succeeded the best. Ronald Reagan, alone among prominent politicians, was the one who didn't accept this script. Out of a sad, lonely childhood, Ronald Reagan transformed himself into a charismatic figure. He deeply believed in the idea of the hero. He became a lifeguard. He rescued 77 people. He became a charismatic radio performer before he became a movie star. But from the start, opinions were always divided about Ronald Reagan. Some people followed him because they saw in him this light, this charismatic figure. Other people always saw him as a phony. When in his high school yearbook, there was a kind of a comic dialogue in which someone was drowning, and Ronald Reagan rescued him. And the drowning man said, "Don't rescue me, I'm trying to commit suicide." And Ronald Reagan said, "You're going to have to postpone that because I want a medal." Reagan was never considered a favorite to succeed Nixon or Ford. The nation had seen its president resign, and he discounted the importance of that. We'd lost our first war, and he discounted the importance of that. In fact, after Vietnam, on his radio show, he liked to quote Pope Pius XII, who said, "The American people have a genius for great and unselfish deeds. Into the hands of America, God has placed the destiny of an afflicted mankind." He was the only person in 1975 who was saying anything like that. Gerald Ford came into office after Nixon's resignation, promising that the long national nightmare was over. But it really wasn't. Things just seemed to get worse and worse. Crime became more extravagant and more violent. The CIA was revealed to be running an assassination gang. Ford pardoned Nixon for any crimes he might have convicted and really made the American people feel like the entire justice system was rigged in favor of the powerful. Every institution seemed to be falling apart. Gerald Ford kept on tripping and falling and just made the most striking possible contrast to Ronald Reagan, who was a figure of grace and confidence in a time in which that was really at a premium in public life. Reagan saved his greatest performance for the 1976 Republican Convention. After it looked like he might be challenging Ford for the nomination in a serious way, a reporter wrote that the Gallup poll had gone bananas. But Reagan kept on winning primaries and took it right down to the wire at the Republican Convention, which was the first convention in a generation and the last one in history in which the outcome wasn't predetermined in advance. Now, he lost that convention, but he ended up giving the concluding speech. And he was so inspiring that on TV, people were crying, people were holding hands, people were bowing their heads like they were in church. And the pundits, after dismissing him for so long, began thinking that he was onto something, that maybe the future would belong to Ronald Reagan. Now, other pundits, of course, said that even though he gave a great speech, his political career was over. Of course, we know how that story ends. Reagan served 2 terms as president, and even Barack Obama said that we're now living in an age of Reagan.